Thank you. That concludes the resolutions for this evening. I'll move to the mayor's report. Pleased to provide the mayor's report for the period of September 23rd to October 6th, 2014. A couple notes on some of the events that took place. Obviously, September is a very busy month. September the 24th, I had the opportunity to participate in the Take Back the Night event that was held at Robbins Donuts and hosted by the Thompson Crisis Center. I'll note that I was joined by Deputy Mayor Fensky and Councillor Robinson at that event. I think this is a very important event. Encourage more of the community to come out. This is an event is stating very clearly that as a community we're not going to accept domestic violence in our community, and we're going to make our streets safe. So I want to acknowledge Mary and Kim from the Thompson Crisis Center for putting the event on, and all those people that participated, and encourage people to get out and get involved. I often hear people indicating concerns about the community. There's opportunities to get out and express those, and sometimes actions speak a lot better than words. So encourage people to attend the Take Back the Night, which is held annually. On September the 27th, I had the opportunity to attend the Thompson Community Foundation Gala, and I note on that event I was joined by Deputy Mayor Fensky and Councillor Locker. And as part of that event, I had the opportunity to speak to the Order of Thompson Award. There is a selection committee that is asked on an annual basis to select an individual under a set criteria for the Order of Thompson. This was the 5th year that the award was presented, and I had the opportunity to speak on behalf of the selection committee. And I was very pleased, along with Peter Pollock, who actually introduced the recipient, and that was Ted Smook this year. I do want to say a couple quick things. Excellent choice in terms of an individual who has been a long-term resident, who has contributed from a philanthropy point of view, from a recreation point of view, from a business leader point of view, and has certainly made a difference in our community. I touched on 3 things that Ted has always meant to me. One is his incredible intelligence, and I cited the example of the transfer of the Thompson Regional Airport Authority and his technical expertise that made that possible. I also noted his tremendous wisdom, and part of that story was a little bit about some of my promises that I've made in the past in terms of getting work done in this community, and his wisdom in terms of enabling and assisting me to deliver on some of those promises because of his understanding of road construction. And the last one is really how incredibly humble he is as a very successful business person, not just in our community, but one that's held in tremendous high esteem right across this province in Western Canada. And I told the story there about how he really was the key driver behind the construction of the tennis courts at the Norplex Pool. And I'll never forget, it was actually at a Community Foundation event, a wine tasting event, where he approached me and said, I understand council wants to build tennis courts. If you want to do it and you're prepared to do it right, I'd be more than happy to assist you. And he did that. He worked very closely with then Rec Director Bruce Krentz. We built those facilities, and they're tremendous, and he had a role right from site location right down to the color of the surface. And so I noted he had received the first key to that facility. I will also note that I had a chance to talk to Councillor Locker and Deputy Mayor Fensky and Councillor Hogan as the chair of the committee, and tomorrow I'm presenting a resolution a recommendation at the Rec and Community Services that Council consider at their next regular meeting a resolution brought forward by the Rec Committee to name the tennis courts at the Norplex Pool in honor of Ted Smook. That fits in accordance with our policy that Thompson has set, and I think it speaks volumes to the work that he played in terms of doing that. So I was very happy to attend that event. I want to congratulate the Community Foundation, who's doing a great job, and they talked a little bit about the numbers in terms of what they're putting back into this community and contributions, and it's absolutely phenomenal. On that night as well, I had the opportunity to quickly go over to the Juniper Center where the People First fundraiser was being held, and although Councillor Robinson and Councillor Collada attended that event, I want to acknowledge Chris Blake, the president of the Thompson chapter, as well as the Manitoba chapter, on the work that People First is doing here in our community regarding accessibility. Chris has attended the Rec Committee meeting a number of times, as well as the Public Works Committee, and we've done some tours of our facility to make sure that our sidewalks and other facilities of the city, including automatic doors, are considered when we go into budget. So great to attend that event and provide some brief greetings. On September 28th, I had the opportunity to attend and provide greetings at the 50th anniversary of the Thompson Pentecostal Assembly, and I'll note that I made a presentation to the congregation, and I asked Councillor Hogan to join me in that. And I want to acknowledge all the members, and especially those that have come back. And we had some good discussions about Thompson and the change in the community and what they see. And it was a very, very positive event, and it was really neat to hear some of the stories, and great to see people come back. And you realize how many people have gone through this community and what they go on to do. And I do want to note Pastor Dan and Nadine Murphy for the work that they do at the Thompson Pentecostal Assembly and the outreach that they do in the community. It was a great event. September 29th, I had an opportunity to attend the Harm Reduction Conference here that was hosted here in Thompson. I want to acknowledge the organizing committee. This was put on here in our community. It rotates, and there were people from northern Manitoba as well as other parts that came to Thompson to talk about some of the things that we need to do in terms of harm reduction, especially in terms of health-related issues. So I was pleased to provide some brief greetings there. And on October the 2nd, we hosted the Seniors and Elders Luncheon, and I was joined by a number of members of council that day. Deputy Mayor Fensky, Councillor Byer, Councillor Collada, Councillor Hogan, we're all there, and it's a great event. And you know, it's neat to see that luncheon grows every year, and the stories that you hear and that incredible passion and commitment to our community from the seniors is just amazing. They've built this community, and I always acknowledge and thank them for that, and it's just a great event. So I want to acknowledge Angela English and our administration for putting that event on, because as always I showed up and was a little late because of another event, and everything was perfect, and I came in, said a few words, and looked great. So wonderful, and men did a good job. In terms of some upcoming events, a couple quick ones. I'm heading down to Winnipeg, and I'm speaking on a panel regarding economic opportunities in northern Manitoba at Centralia, Manitoba, which will be hosted Wednesday, Thursday. It is where they match business to business, and this year's theme is economic opportunities in northern Manitoba. So I will be sitting on one panel and then having an opportunity to meet with a variety of people. I can tell you that it's amazing the amount of interest in northern Manitoba, not just Thompson, but in northern Manitoba economically, that I've seen recently. The other one is just let people know that there will be Celebrating Abilities Conference here in Thompson. Again, this is a provincial conference that's being hosted at the Thompson Regional Community Center, I believe Wednesday, Thursday, and encourage people to participate in that event. And then I was just reminded this evening that on Saturday, October the 11th, there will be a fundraiser, a Drag the Red River fundraiser. There's been a lot of communication, a lot of talk about this in terms of supporting the groups that are looking at the efforts regarding a river in Winnipeg and recovery of missing and murdered Aboriginal women. And I appreciate the efforts, and I'm very proud of Thompsonites that they get involved and support a cause that's connected to our community. Some of those women had direct connections to Thompson and northern Manitoba. So I was very pleased. I know Councillor Lafreniere was listed as someone donating, and Hilda got to me, and I was more than happy. So I encourage people to support that cause. Juniper Center, 5 to 8 o'clock Saturday night. In terms of just a quick update, the capital work in terms of asphalting was completed just in time, apparently, in terms of the change in weather, but it's great to see that work done. As I said earlier, the multi-use path trails look good. The work that was done on some of the areas, the entranceway to TRCC, and I got to tell you, Paint Road. I had the chance to drive down Paint Road, and it is just amazing what a difference that makes in the BTC, and I really commend council for that vision to do that work. So the asphalting is done. We still have some minor capital work to do regarding some of the sidewalks. We're very confident that we're going to get that done. The weather looks like it's going to turn nice again for a few days, so we're going to be able to get that done. Interesting enough, you know, this is the first year I've ever seen us continue to have water breaks throughout the summer and into the fall, and we're still getting them, and so our crews are out there. continuing to work. I remind people that if they see issues, to contact Public Works, and we'll address them. A couple quick things then in closing. First, October 5th to the 11th is Fire Prevention Week. I know Thompson Fire and Emergency Services are doing a number of issues because my niece came to me and asked for a piece of paper and a pencil to draw our fire evacuation plan for our house today. So I know you've engaged the youth, and that's great to see, and I think we're going to be having a contest for Chief of the Day.
Day again. We have it every year where one of the winners from the elementary schools will be brought into the station and given a tour of the station, then over to the RCMP with them people. Back to the station, have lunch with the guys and the girls, and if we do get some small runs, we'll get them packaged up in the back of a unit, seat belted, and we'll bring them to a call or two, and then their parents will come down around 4 o'clock and we'll get some pictures taken, and that's Chief for the day.
Excellent, good. And the other one is just a reminder that as well, I've proclaimed October 6th to the 11th Mental Illness Awareness Week, and again, this is one of those areas that as a community we have got to do much more work in terms of the awareness of mental health issues and contribute. So those are some of the events that I attended. I know people have been busy and there's been other things, so if other members of council have attended events and they want to share that, I'd be more than open to hearing that. Councillor Lafreniere?
Just two things. I want to pick up on the Drag the River, and there was a challenge put out to all of council, so those people who may not be on Facebook or who haven't seen it, there was a challenge to council, and I think the request was quite modest. It was $20, so hopefully council can step up there and make a donation. And the second was I had the opportunity to attend the YWCA AGM. And since I haven't put my name forward for council, and I'll have a little bit more time on my hands, I have put my name forward to be on the Y board, and I really look forward to being a part of their renewed strategic direction. And they've really put an emphasis on Indigenous women and the safety of girls and women, and I think that's really important to our community, so I look forward to being a part of their board.
Very good. And just on the Drag the Red River, thank you for the challenge, because I was reminded by Hilda Fitzner to challenge council. Tammy won't let me go on Facebook anymore, and but Hilda caught me downtown and I had to hand over the $20. So, and I encourage everyone to do the same. Anyone else? Judy and then Aaron. Oh, sorry, Councillor Collada, Councillor Hogan.
I just wanted to ask, who do we donate the $20 to?
I know.
Bobby or Hilda? Hilda Fitzner's the one who put the challenge out to
Okay.
council, but I know they're both quite involved.
Thanks. Councillor Hogan.
Thank you. I'm sure that everyone around this table at least is aware that we have one more council meeting left after this one. So this is my last council meeting that I'm going to be able to attend in person. I have a rapidly growing or rapidly developing physical limitations, which I'm not anticipating I will be able to attend in person our last meeting. So at the indulgence of council, I wanted to just offer some personal reflections on the term. It's been a tumultuous 4 years with this council, and I wanted to offer some reflections on the positive, sticking to the positive, as is my nature. And normally I like to speak off the cuff, but I didn't want to forget anything, so I did prepare a written statement that just for a couple minutes, if you just let me share. I'd like to use this opportunity to express my gratitude to the community of Thompson that voted me into this council position. I am not running again in the municipal election, as my growing family and I are starting a new adventure with some very demanding priorities in the near future. If anything, the past 4 years have been a challenging 4 years. This council began our first month of our term with what seemed to be a devastating bad news announcement from Valet, and a council that grew increasingly more divided. However, if these past 4 years are a testament to anything, it's the fact that this community is resilient and will continue to thrive even in the midst of challenge. I've been honored to serve as Chair of Recreation and Community Services for 3 years of this term, 1 year as Deputy Mayor, and as Council's representative to Public Safety, Public Works, and Legislative and Intergovernmental Affairs. I'm particularly proud of this Council's decision to move ahead with the UCN development with campus, childcare, and student family housing. I'm proud of our investment in the Thompson Regional Community Center, laying the foundation of an active transportation network with multi-use paths, our commitment to keeping the Thompson Aboriginal Accord alive, the TEDWIG process that grew out of that forum, and the resulting partnerships that have flourished. I'm proud of our support for community organizations, from the success of the Rotary Park splash pads to the ongoing Our Home Kikinaw projects that the Thompson Neighborhood Renewal Association has been advocating. I'm proud of this council's commitment to addressing root causes of crime instead of fear-mongering and blaming outsiders or other orders of government for our problems. I'm proud how we took a stand to support our homeless population through the cold weather policy and Operation Northern Doorways. And I'm also proud that through these persistent efforts, we've knocked ourselves out of the Crime Severity Index top spot for the first time in 10 years. I'm also incredibly grateful for the opportunity to have represented Thompson, Manitoba on a national level at the Federation of Canadian Municipalities for nearly 5 years, and that we were able to implement the Protégé program here at home, showing young women that municipal government is something that they can get involved in. But most of all, I'm grateful that I've been able to keep my original campaign promise to give back to a community that has given me so many opportunities. You need thick skin in this job, and mine has definitely become a lot thicker as a result. It requires many hours and much sacrifice. To my former volleyball and baseball teams, I apologize for missing so many games that you wondered why I was on the roster. To the Thompson Community Band, unfortunately, you missed out on my mad trombone skills, and as practice conflicted with way too many budget meetings. To the ladies at TPA, I want to thank you for adjusting your schedules to mine when meetings or travel or exhaustion changed our plans. And to those who are taking or looking to take on this work and become elected to council, you really have no idea what you're in for, but my advice would be to keep an open mind and trust administration because they're the real experts. It's best to come into this position willing to learn and ask questions because there are no easy answers and problems are much more complex than you ever could have realized. To residents in Thompson, I encourage you to exercise your right to vote, but I also encourage you to get informed about the candidates. You need a team here that is willing and able to work together and is going to work for the big picture, not get bogged down by petty interpersonal conflict or a misplaced focus on personal gain. You need people that want to learn and give back, not people that think that they have all the answers already. To wrap up, I'd like to thank a few of my council colleagues, those that have made an impression on me throughout this term. Mayor Johnston, I say wholeheartedly that Thompson has been well served by your leadership and your advocacy for our community. I don't know anyone that is more passionate about this community than you. You had a tough job as head of council, and you had to make decisions about who to trust with leadership in order to advance your vision for Thompson. I think you made the right choices and built a team with those that wanted to work towards solutions rather than sit back and criticize. Thompson has come out of these difficult years stronger and better positioned to take advantage of the new opportunities ahead. Deputy Mayor Fensky, I have known you since I was a kid, but it was as a dad and as a parent. However, it's been a delight to have you as a council colleague. I've admired your even-keeled approach to issues and the wisdom that you bring to negotiations. You grasp the fine detail in big-picture items and have always encouraged us to negotiate with positions based on fact. I believe your approach has led to much success for this council over the past 4 years and has contributed to the reputation of Thompson as a major player on the municipal stage within this province. Councillor Lafreniere, I have valued your energy and commitment to our region over these years. You had 3 years of experience on me when I first joined council and appreciate how you're willing to share your perspective as I was learning. I would comfortably call our council experience similar but different, whether it would be our local support base, our leadership styles, or our arguments for voting for or against an issue. I'm glad we were able to share the Protégé program experience and show young women in this community that serving on council is worth the effort. You will leave a leadership gap at the city with your decision not to run. However, I'm confident that your broad skill set will continue to serve residents well through other means. And lastly, Councillor Locker, I would like to recognize your service to this community and to this council. There are many issues that we have not agreed on over the years, but I've valued your commitment that you bring to this table. You bring us the perspective of what you hear outside of these chambers, and at the end of the day, the vote is the vote and you leave it at the table. I've not personally known you to hold a grudge or become bitter or spiteful as the result of a vote not going your way. If more council members could take this approach to issues, residents would be better served and council would be much more effective. I wish you the very best in the future as you step away from this crazy world. Finally, and most importantly, I want to thank my family. My parents, Wayne and Ruth Stewart, and Charlene and Tony Hogan, for their unconditional love and support, and my adoptive brothers, Jordan, Sam, and Ian. You've kept me grounded and in touch with the things that really matter in the end. I'd also like to thank the congregation at Thompson Pentecostal Assembly for their prayers, guidance, and support. You've known me since I was a kid, and you are always there to remind me that this community has great people that are worth working hard for. But most of all, I must thank my husband, Tyler, who was left alone for far too many evenings while I was in meetings, at events, or away on travel, who would be questioned about city business despite his best efforts to avoid it, and would become involved in more debates about feminism, policy development, funding arrangements, and homelessness than I'm sure he ever imagined he was signing up for. Thank you, Thompson, for the opportunity to serve. I'm sad to walk away when there's still so much work to do, but I promise that wherever life takes me, I will always love this community and the people in it. I will always be an advocate for the city of Thompson, and will never forget or take for granted the trust that you put in me over these past few years. Thank you.
Thank you, and I wish you all the best on behalf of all members of council. On that, motion to adjourn. Councillor Frenier, Councillor Byer, all in favor?